Well, Sarah, Brent, about an hour and a half ago, the House passed a bill allocating the rest of the state's nearly $400 million in unspent federal funding. But many groups are not happy with how lawmakers are going about this. Facing a Wednesday midnight deadline, House Democrats finally submitting a bill to allocate the last of the state's federal American Rescue Plan Act dollars. The $360 million in temporary pandemic-era funding would go toward higher education, human services and nonprofits, and many specific municipal projects.
We're giving money to nonprofits. We're funding community colleges. If you're from Eastern Connecticut, we're funding UConn. We're funding Planned Parenthood so they can continue to provide services in this state.
Democratic leadership decided weeks ago not to formally adjust the second year of the state's two-year $52 billion budget passed last session. They say if they open the budget for the 2024-25 fiscal year, that would have forced them to make cuts and reductions to comply with spending cap rules.
To open the budget would have led to a parade of difficult decisions.
Instead, legislators trying to fill some of that need with these expiring ARPA dollars. Big ticket items, $160 million for higher education, $50 million for nonprofits, $21 million for early childhood education, and $24 million for mental health services. That's less than these groups asked for, but more than expected. For higher ed, $100 million is going to the University of Connecticut, with $60 million allocated to 6 other state universities and colleges. But state Republicans say this stabilization bill is really a disguised budget, accusing Democrats of shirking the fiscal guardrails.
He wants Republicans' fingerprints on the murder weapon for the state of Connecticut.
Candelora calls this legislation a punt, saying it would create problems long term by not weaning institutions like UConn off ARPA dollars, which won't be around next year. He expects the state would then have to match this spending plan from their own pocket.
This is a dangerous budget for the state of Connecticut because what it is going to do is set us up for tax increases next year, and also we are going to be potentially now violating the spending caps this year and setting us up to undo those fiscal guardrails next year.
And this bill is now headed to the Senate, where Democrats do expect approval, but also possibly hours of floor debates. And even if this is passed in both chambers, Governor Lamont has expressed concern about a possibly imbalanced state budget. We'll be on Capitol Watch all day tomorrow as lawmakers race against the clock to close out this 2024 session. Sarah, Brent.